F&I sales process. In order to sell effectively, regardless of what you sell, it comes down to one thing: the transfer of enthusiasm for the product from the seller to the buyer. Does that mean that the seller gets up on top of their desk and jumps up and down and tells the customer how great the products are? Absolutely not. What it means is you have to have a genuine passion for what you do and a belief in what you sell, so you can transfer that enthusiasm to the customer. That is the only way that works for both high F&I profits and high customer satisfaction. The F&I sales process is basically a four-step approach. Number one, the approach or breaking the preoccupation of the customer. Second, presenting the products to the customer. Third, overcoming objections. And they will have them. Objections on why they don't want to buy. And lastly, closing or getting the customer to make a decision, and doing all of this in an enthusiastic way. That's the key to being successful in selling F&I products. I like to say, selling without enthusiasm is like driving your car with the emergency brake on. Sure, you can do it, it's just not very effective. So the first step is the approach. A customer decides in the first minute if they're not going to buy from you. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean they decide in the first minute that they're going to buy from you, but they will decide in the first minute if they're not going to buy, just by the way you approach them. The key to an effective approach is first to break their preoccupation. In our business, they just spent hours, maybe days, trying to make a decision to buy a motorcycle, and the last thing they have in mind is being sold something. They just want to go home, finish with their purchase. So you have to break the preoccupation. The way we do this is by asking them a question. That question should be designed to get the customer to think, why must I listen to you? Why must I listen to you? I'll give you an example. There was a story about a Corning glass salesperson. This happened many years ago when safety glass was first invented. This Corning glass salesperson was the best in the company at selling safety glass. So, at their national convention, they asked him to share with the other salespeople how he did it. He said, it went like this. I started with a preoccupation-breaking question. I'd walk up to a prospect and I'd say to them, how would you like to see a piece of glass that doesn't break? And of course, the prospect would look at him and go, well, yeah, okay, yeah, sure. Remember, back then, they didn't have safety glass. A piece of glass that doesn't break? Yeah, a piece of glass that doesn't break, the salesperson would say back. How would you like to see it? And they'd say, okay, let me see it. And then I would reach into my briefcase, pull out a 6x6 piece of safety glass. I also would pull out a ball-peen hammer that I carried, and I would smack, hit the safety glass. Then the prospect would look down, look up to shield their eyes, and the glass never shattered. And what was my next question? Or the salesman's next question? That's right. How much would you like? So I have some good news and some bad news. The bad news is I haven't come up with a preoccupation-breaking question quite that good for our industry. But I do have some that are effective. For example, Mr. and Mrs. Customer, congratulations on your new purchase. We really appreciate you choosing us to buy your motorcycle because we know you could have chose someone else. Now that you've just purchased this new bike, is getting the best possible financing important to you? That's the preoccupation-breaking question. Now, I didn't say, would you like the best possible rate, or would you like to take care of your financing here? The question is designed to break preoccupation. Another example, would you be interested in a program that would prevent you from having to pay most any future repair bill? The customer's response, of course, is, what is it? That's what you want them to say. When a customer walks up to you, there are three things they're going to notice about you. Number one, they're going to notice your appearance. That means yourself. How you're groomed. Are you prepared for work? Do you look professional? The important thing is that you're neat, you're groomed, and you're prepared to do work. In reference to your appearance, they're also going to notice the area that you work in. They'll notice if it's cluttered, if it looks disorganized, You don't want distractions lying around on your desk for the customer to be preoccupied with. That's why I suggest you create what I call an emergency drawer. The emergency drawer is just that, for emergencies. You take everything off your desk when a customer comes in, and you put them right in your drawer. Now you're ready to do business. Once you've finished with your delivery, you can take everything back out, and you can start all over again. The second thing the customer will notice about you is your voice. Are you confident? Do you speak to them directly? Do you look them in the eye when you talk to them? You know, you guys know, remember when your dad used to always tell you when you were growing up? Look them in the eye when they talk to you. Well, to a lot of people, that's important. To many people, if you don't look them in the eye, they think you're not telling them the truth or you're being dishonest. So they're going to notice your voice. Is it confident? Is there strength? Do you have passion in what you're doing? They're also going to notice your attitude. Do you have a positive attitude? One thing I can tell you about attitude is people never recognize their negative attitude, but they always recognize someone else's. We all do it. We walk into a store, we go to the counter, the person's busy behind the counter doing things. They finally look up at you and look you right in the eyes, and you can tell exactly whether or not they want you to be there or want to help you, can't you? Well, sure you can. We notice their negative attitudes just as our customers will notice ours.